Hi, welcome to the extended video to Riley and Leonore's YouTube page. Thank you for stopping by and becoming a member. Riley and I really appreciate all our members here on Patreon, and we are so excited to bring out more content when it comes to relationship, self-healing, guidance, mentorship, astrology, Riley, right?
You name it, one stop shop.
Yeah, and you know, if you have any suggestions for any topics that has to do with relationship, astrology, spirituality, please let us know, and we'll come up with a video and upload it for you guys. Okay. Anyway, in the meantime, we were talking about, are you the apology to the person that you're with, or basically, what was it again?
The person that came before you in a relationship.
The person that came before you in a relationship, right? So Riley was talking about rebounds and healing and how much time you need to heal before you go into another relationship.
Well, the question was, if you're in a relationship and you haven't finished healing, is your partner responsible to help you heal? And the question is, if they help you heal, are they going to be the same person that they were when they originally met you? And if so, if not, or if so, are they going to still be attracted to you because now they're no longer the person that they were previously? There are situations where I've seen men help women in very tumultuous relationships, and then she basically feels like, oh, thank you for believing in me, and thank you for helping me when I was going through a rough time, but this is not what I want to be anymore. So just because you if you choose to be the apology, you may end up with a thank you. Have a good day. So the $1 million question is, do you take somebody under the pretense of certain pain that they may be in? I personally believe you shouldn't. You let them heal. You let them be alone. You let them find a God within themselves. I think the first thing you should do is detox from anybody or anything that's been in your life that has hurt you. Somebody else taking your place doesn't fix you.
How can you, when you tell someone to detox, what does that necessarily mean? Like purging, you mean?
Purging, spiritual purging. Did you yoni steam your vagina? Did you exercise? Did you be alone for a while? Who are you hanging out with?
Does yoni steam work? What is?
Yoni steam works. It
Where
works.
did that even came from? That concept?
Well, because scientifically and biologically speaking, a woman's body is designed to hold DNA. Sperm it's not just designed to make a baby. It's also DNA storage. So when a woman has allowed men to be inside her sexually and they release sperm in her, she still has other men's DNA. Remember, energy is constant, don't go nowhere. So where's that sperm going? So she has men DNA in her. Those personalities are still in her. And that's what we're finding out as of in the past 3 or 4 years in science. And that's why a woman may have depression or thinking about the ex, or just having an attachment to people who she thought she was done with, because she hasn't spiritually detoxed herself.
That's a literal detox situation.
Little. Man concern is the man. What is he doing? Is he on his purpose? Is he about trying to get on his purpose to be a leader for his family? Who's he hanging out with? Is he in strip clubs? Don't do that. Are you home wasting time? Are you overly masturbating? Losing testosterone? Are you just wasting your time? What are you doing to find purpose in yourself that you feel the need to have somebody when you just left somebody. Because all that stress and trauma you're putting on somebody else's shoulder. You know. So some may argue and say, well, you know what? Well, if they go to a counselor, why can't they have a man that counsels them? But see, the only difference is when you go to counseling and you go to therapy, I hope you're not having sex with each other. You see, when you talk about therapy and healing, what you're talking about, therapy, the work that happens in therapy is not in that person's office. It's when you leave the therapist's office. So what you get in there is the mirror of what you need to do to fix yourself from an objectional standpoint. But if another man is laying with you and putting more sperm in you, and you're having detox from the last 5 to 10 people, then all you're doing is selfishly putting more burden on another individual. You know, if you ask me personally, my personal opinion, a woman that's been hurt more than twice, she may be damaged beyond repair. Or she needs a man who's highly spiritual to really help her see the how she can heal herself. But it's very hard. You have to be a different type of man. After she's been heartbroken twice, there's a lot of repair emotionally to be done. So imagine 5 or 10 men after her. Imagine 5 heartbreaks.
That sounds like someone that's insecure. To be, like, I know a lot of people are not honest about this, but when you connect in a new relationship, they're not going to say, well, I just slept with 5 women before you or 5 men before you, but you're my last person. You're the last person I want to sleep with because I really feel the chemistry here. Like how does that conversation go when you want to start something serious with that person? Is it going to be a one-night stand? Is it going to be booty call, friends with benefits? How do you determine, is this the person that I want to be with? Despite the fact that they're going through some emotional trauma or baggage or wounds, I feel like we all go through it in some shape, form, or other. But, how do you determine that's the person I want to be with? And let's have this conversation. Go detox, go purge, go heal. Do this together. How does that conversation go? How does that conversation go? Number 1. Number 2, Riley, insecurity. Like, I just feel like someone who's promiscuous like that has a lack of, they have insecurities. Am I wrong by saying that?
Well, I think that you have to deep into what motivates a person's behavior. I mean, the average person would say, well, I'm just sexually free. I just want to do what I want to do and be with how many men I want. Yeah, you can choose to do that, but your pH is saying something different. Mm-hmm. Your pH balance ain't agreeing with what you're saying. Your body's telling you that's not the right thing to be doing. So you can do what you want. You free to do what you want, but there's consequences of the choices of what you do. But to answer your original question, I'm saying you have to be, as a man, dealing with a woman. And I guess I'm going to touch on the man dealing with, I'm a vice versa.
Yeah, because I want to know how that conversation would go.
As a man dealing with a woman, in the beginning, especially as a man, you cannot be afraid to talk to a woman in a fashion that's in the best interest of both parties. And you cannot be ever afraid to walk away from anybody because you have the best intentions. Because if you're afraid to tell the truth, then you're operating off negativity yourself, because you're only concerned with having her, not putting the mirror where she can probably help herself. That's selfish for you as a man to do that. You have to break her down to build her up. She coming to you because she like who you are. Okay, well, if you like who I am, this is what I stand for. Have you detoxed yourself? Have you yoni steamed your vagina? Have you been hanging around the right people? Have you sustained for sex in a certain amount of time? If she's like, oh, you tell me about my body, then automatically what you're looking at what I'm saying as a form of control. I'm saying it as a form of mirror. Because what have you learned from your past relationship? Because he didn't tell you to do none of that, and you're not together. So I'm gonna give you some game, and if you don't want it, then that's fine. I'm not gonna be a victim of what you don't want to do to help yourself, because you're not gonna burden me. I'm not the apology, in my personal opinion, but I can help create a solution.
How do men? Because I know women are very emotional, and you could automatically that they're carrying emotional baggage from a past relationship. But how do men have that emotional? Because that's a whole different display. I feel like it's more of an outburst or shutdown with them.
But see, I think the problem is that we got to look at it from a masculine alpha male perspective. It's not that a man does not have emotion. He does not let his emotion dictate his choices. Now, a man that has emotion, that suppresses his emotion, that acts like he doesn't have emotion, that's where the outbursts come from. Because he's in denial. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know how to make decisions with his mind as opposed to his heart. So he's really emotional, acting like he's tough. That's not the same as a man who really is tough. If you've been around gangsters, if you've been around killers, if you've been around strong men, they don't really act hard in the street. They're actually very cool and calm. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, how you doing? But when you test them, it's different. See, it's always the men who are always barking because they're not sure of themselves. So, or they lash out on people who they know they can get away with it. See, I'm a man. See, that's not manliness.
How do you stop that behavior in a relationship? Whether it's a male or female doing that, like how do you be like, wait, hold on a second. Like, what is this outburst about? Is it about me? Do you know what I mean? Some people can't distinguish.
A lot of times, if you have to pretend to be a man, or act like you're a tough man, that's because you've repressed some form of trauma or abuse or stress in your life. So you're trying to find your way in a society that you feel doesn't support your personality type, or you have some abuse that you don't know who you can turn to. So you've actually repressed or regressed a lot of your emotional trauma, and then you lash out on people. See, that's not operating off your objectivity. That's suppressing your emotions. That's not the same entity. So when women say, "Why can't men show emotion?" I think a lot of men who do show too much emotion, but act like they don't have emotion. But as an alpha type, we feel, but we're not going to let our feelings dictate our long-term decisions. Because if we operate off emotion, and then but that's a woman vibration, not a man vibration. When we start acting like a woman, what's she going to say? Be a man. Women always want men to act like, be more sensitive, be more caring. But a lot of times, men have a purpose. If me and you go out to dinner or to a restaurant, I park my car backwards just in case we gotta speed out. I gotta sit with my back. I don't sit with my back to the door in case I gotta know who's coming in. So we're protectors. We're not going to talk to you about this stuff, but we're on our different mind. If we're in a relationship, I have to make sure, as a man, that I can be in a position to do things for you and myself, no matter the conditions, whether it's recession or it's a depression, it's a prosperity, that's my role.
So you're saying if the woman doesn't feel protected anymore in a relationship with a masculine, they should honestly take a second guess and be like, it's not going to work out.
What I'm saying is that a woman who it's almost impossible. No, I'm gonna recant that. Before you decide as a man that you're gonna protect this woman, you're gonna put your life on the line for her, you're gonna do what needs to be done as a man, you must require her submission. Why would you put your life on the line for a half-assed woman?
Submission
mean in the definition of I lead and she follows my lead because I can lead. Her opinion is noteworthy. She adds to what we do. She's not a slave. I didn't say she was a slave. But
working together.
But I am the leader. I am the head without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm willing to participate and be that person. But she has to understand that requires her to be in a submissive state. If I'm going to give my life for her, why would I want a half-assed woman?
I feel submissive should be changed to something else. And I mean, I know what you're saying.
You can call it what you want, as long as you're doing what you need to, as long as you're doing what I'm asking her to do.
But there are women out there, and I'm just making an example, Riley, because there are women out there that are CEOs of companies or entrepreneurs.
Okay, great.
And they make decisions, executive decisions every day, right? Then they go home to their man. How do they turn that off and become submissive?
Because what you do for a living and who you have a responsibility to, emotionally, sexually, socially, financially, is not the same thing. Because guess what? You a CEO of the company? Great. That's your job. Do it. See, that's the problem right there. What you just said was very important. You equated what she does with who she is. You having a job, you are not your job. You work your job. If she's a CEO and the board members get rid of her, right? If she doesn't have majority stake shares in the company, and when the board gets rid of her, who is she now? See, you are a queen with the job, without the job. That's who you are. If you act in accordance to that law. So if you equate, you being who you are by how much money you have or your occupation, then what you're doing is you're forgetting about your responsibilities as a woman and as it pertains to relationship with the man. That's what I'm saying. Because I've seen many women go home frustrated, sad, lonely, with vibrators that have very high prestigious positions at work. What does having a job have to do? What does independence have to do? I mean, what does having a job having to do with being a loyal woman to your man?
But is that a form? Because I've also seen men get intimidated by that position at their job. So it's almost as if the woman has to come home. And I'm not saying all relationships, but it's in the case that I'm referring to, and again, I'm talking about women who have high titles, high positions. They make decisions on a daily basis, and then they come home. And if they have a man that protects them and they're on the same level, that's a different story. But when you come home to a person that feels that, you make executive decisions every day, I don't need to make a decision, you make a decision. Almost as if becoming standoffish, the protection's not there anymore.
But then I'm gonna say it again then. Is that man operating at his highest capacity as a man?
Correct.
Yes or no? And if he's not, should she be submissive to him?
If he's not, that's where it lies. If he's not, then what does a woman do?
Then she shouldn't be around a man that can't lead.
Right.
if he doesn't have the ability or the wherewithal or the attempt to take the responsibility as a leader, as an alpha, as a sacrifice and a protector, then why then that's what's gonna happen. I really don't care what you do for a living. I don't care if you're a CEO. I don't care if you work at Wendy's, because I'm gonna require the same of you. And that doesn't necessarily. That's the thing about being an alpha man. I may be with a woman who's maybe smarter than me. Maybe she's a little smarter than me in a certain way. Maybe it's a possibility. I can't be better than her in everything. Mm-hmm. My man is not designed to be better than her in everything. But if I need to utilize her for the best interests of both of us, so be it. If you're good at that, sweetie, I need you to help me with this. Mm-hmm. Okay? I've used this analogy many times before. Many times before I use this analogy. If you play chess, the king only can move one space in any direction. Right? Mm-hmm. The queen does everything. Up, down, right, and left. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. But when the queen is taken, what happens to the game?
Over.
It's not. The queen can be replaced by a pawn. Mm-hmm. When the king is trapped,
what do I know about chess?
when the king is trapped, the game is over. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what that means is that you don't have to be run up and down. You build an environment that allows her to. You build the house, and she makes it a home. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't oversee every detail like a control freak.
Can I ask you also, Riley? Can men and women switch roles sometimes? For example, can a man be a protector and be an emotional caretaker to the children? Does that make them less of an alpha male if they make emotional decisions based on their children? Because I've seen fathers, and I'm going to talk about fathers. Because a father, I feel, is the most protective out of all males, whether you're alpha male or not. You're a father. Your job is now to protect. You have no choice. But then we have like very these emotional dads that are there for their partner and make emotional decisions together as a parent, as a father and a mother. And
give me an example.
So. One example is, when my son was, when I was 9 months pregnant, I was wanting to make the decision of circumcising my son. And I needed my son's father to really help me out with this, because I was looking at videos and it looked very, it's torture for a baby, especially a newborn. And I needed, that father to help me out in this situation, and it was an emotional decision for me.
Yeah, but that's both people partners should be involved in decisions that have to do with the physical being of a child they both put on the planet.
But some fathers or some males would think that's a woman's job, because it's a decision that you make for a child.
Well, they're wrong.
And that, to me, it's like, well, you're not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's. See,
that's what I mean by emotional.
If you think being a man means, or being a dominant man means, get my dinner, bitch, or clean this fucking house, that's not alpha male aura or tendency by definition. Because as an alpha male, she gonna want to keep you. She gonna cook and do that, make you happy, because she wants to naturally. You don't have to stomp it. See, power, influence, natural male energy is not about demanding respect. It's about commanding respect. When you walk into a room, your presence is felt by men, women, and children alike. Mm-hmm. You have to be like, I'm the man, you have to listen to what I say, yeah, then you already letting her know that you ain't shit. Because a dominant male, I've never had to be in the presence of a woman, right? Most 90% of the time. Even friends, you know what I'm saying, that women that are just cool, and they didn't feel safe, or they can be alone, that I would hurt them, or they would feel like, you know if something happened to them, they wouldn't be okay. You know? So I'm connecting this back to the apology issue. As a strong alpha male, you don't take that burden on necessarily. You have to clean her up a certain way and give her instructions. This is what I want you to do. If you want to be in my world, this is what I require of you. You know. And
what is that? Get over your ex quickly?
No. What I require of you is to do is I need you to look in the mirror, right? And take time out to realize how divine you are. Right? You were divine before you met me. You were queen before you met me. You were God. I'm gonna raise that you are queen inherently in the nature of your existence as far as royalty, but I'm gonna put the crown on your head. But before I do that, you must do this, that, and the third. You see what I'm saying? I gotta break you down to build you up.
When you say break you down, it sounds so negative, Riley.
Well,
but I know what you're getting at, because some people need to be broken down to kind of see their shadow side.
Let me give you an example. When you a drug addict, right? And then you go to NA. What did they make you say in every meeting? Hello, my name is Riley Myers. I'm a drug addict.
Yes.
You know what that is? They're breaking you down for you to be accountable for your choices. Nobody questions that. But as soon as a man tells you gonna break down a woman, that sounds negative. That's the problem. That's the problem with society, because most they look at men being strong. I gotta break you down and tell you that your behavior that you're displaying,
taking accountability,
is accountability. Because you're not gonna come into my world talking about thinking you the shit, and you don't let different men run through you and emotionally destroy you, and you think you're gonna come into my cipher and start laying down law when 15 men before you was telling you what the fuck to do?
Riley, there's not enough of those men out there. You know that, right?
But that's why in the olden days the alpha male had more than one anyway. You know?
No, it's disgusting. Non-alpha male have more than one too.
Well, listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to the alpha male definition is not.
Yes, define alpha male, please.
Good. The alpha male is not a one stop shop. In the sense, no pun. In the sense of it's whatever your ability to be who you are intrinsically, to the point where everybody around you know this is who you really are. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody gets to see you, gets to see all of you, but predominantly your energy and your aura is felt with people who don't even know you. People that watch me on YouTube that never met me before, 90% gonna be like, yo, I don't think that Riley's playing around. I think he really believes this shit. Yeah, I absolutely do. I stand by it. Now, alpha male is the one that takes responsibility for his actions. He works hard. He protects. He produces. He makes sure that he's in the position to take care of himself first and foremost. You're not going to be an alpha male if you underpaid, right? You're not going to be an alpha male if you constantly have to ask your boss to take a vacation, and in the sense of you underpaid, and well, you could be alpha male and work with somebody else, but typically you got to be that's a slippery slope. You should be taking responsibility of as a man in your own hands, okay? Because how you mean you together, right? You my woman, right? And you have to ask another person, can you have a vacation? And if he says no, you mean you can't go nowhere. And but I'm gonna come home and be the king? Nah. See, when I say alpha male, that's a responsibility for me too. I gotta make sure I'm in a position to be able to take care of people where she doesn't have to work for anybody else necessarily.
If it's possible.
You should be working towards it.
We have down.
Yeah, but you should be working on it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You should be in a position where you're working on your independence as an adult man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You should be in the interim of it. You shouldn't be like, well, wait till I'm 65. I'm going to get a nice little retirement watch. You know, don't go to work and have your manager talk shit to you all day long, and then come home and then try to boss your woman around. Mm-hmm. That's some sucker shit. That's sucker shit right there. If you strong, you strong throughout. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do a Patreon because I didn't want to keep working with somebody else. I didn't want somebody to constantly tell me, you know, rally this, rally that, rally this, rally that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want that. I want to be able to emancipate myself financially with freedom, where I can do things and help people that I admire and love. And
your passion, you're following your passion, and the woman should be there to follow your vision.
Right. So what I look like, I'm coming on the house and blaming her because ain't no food in there, or putting all the burdens of society on her, because that's what used to happen back in the day. Especially the man would go to work, stress out, and then go home and beat his wife because he was stressed out. That's not cool. Mm-hmm. That's sucker shit. You beating her because you not taking full responsibility of how to handle things. So, but let me go back a little bit. First of all, as an alpha male, you should also not be afraid to be by yourself. You don't have to have a woman in your life to consider yourself to be a strong man. You don't need that validation. You work on your craft, you work on yourself. Sometimes too much pussy, it can be a downfall. Because now you're chasing pussy, right? And so now, back to that woman we talked about before, right? So I can't tell her to fix herself up because I'm afraid what she's going to think about me. But when you're a strong man, you don't give a fuck about none of that. Because you're not afraid to be alone. And any negotiating situation in life, you should always be comfortable with walking away from the table at any part of the negotiation. Once you are afraid to walk away from any negotiation at any time, the person has leverage over you. If you're afraid to be alone, so you put up with shit because she has good pussy, then you are a slave to her, whether she gives it to you or not. And that's not the energy that you want to operate from. Mm-hmm. You can't be afraid of that. So, first step to being an alpha man is you cannot be afraid to be by yourself. You have to master that. And then you talk to women honestly. Listen, I heard girls' feelings before all the time. Why you ever talk to me like that? How you gonna say that to me? What the fuck you think you are? Man. A woman told me the other day, I was talking to a girl, and she's like, you know, I need to lose weight. I said, yeah, you do. You should. She's like, what? You said it, I'm agreeing with you. Don't say it then. Because see, most men are not gonna, and we was in the gym, this is what she said. And you do lose weight. I said, yeah. You do, yeah. You know, you could use it, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be in shape and so I'm agreeing with you. So because so many men probably want to fuck her, they don't tell her that. But she don't respect no man like that. See, she may be around you, but that honesty, women love them. Women always say, "Give me a man who's honest. Give me this, give me that." So if you really want that, are you ready? Can you handle it? See, some women don't want no alpha man. They want somebody they can control.
Yeah.
Okay?
I've seen that.
Let me be with somebody that I can control because I'm not ready to look at myself in the mirror and change my ways. See, Riley gonna make me look in the mirror and I ain't ready for that. My trauma reminds me that looking in the mirror is a detriment. to myself because I'm not ready to fix myself. So let me find somebody who just going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to give them good sex and give her good head, and then they'll shut the fuck up. Let me have my way. But guess what? Ticking time bomb. Because in a woman's nature, inherently, in her inherent nature, she doesn't want to rule a relationship. How can I say that's not true? I'm going to tell you how I'm true and prove right there. Whenever women will tell you, I hate a man that I got to tell that I got to be the boss. I hate that shit. I want a man that could, I don't have to start talking down to you, disrespecting you. Stop giving you pussy after a while. You know what I'm saying? She's controlling you because you haven't told her what she needs to hear. She's actually mad at you for not being the man that she knows somewhere in her spirit you're supposed to be. You know? And remember, I've never said abuse. I've never said verbal abuse. I've never said disrespect behavior. If you notice my conversation, I talk more about what I need to do first to be the example for her to submit to. I have to be accountable for my shit too. So I am not the apology. I am not the apology for her. I will not be the apology for her. She will get herself right and make herself worthy. And that energy, when she fixes herself, her energy, her vibration and frequency will change, and she will attract people like her. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be apologizing for for somebody else and then have you disrespect me because you're not really healed.
Yeah. Well said. Thank you, Riley, for really breaking that down. And I know that there's so much more to talk about when it comes to this topic, right? Because it branches off to like other different things as well. But that was amazing.
Yeah, I know women are gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna get called sexist. I'm gonna get called misogynist. I'm gonna get called all these things." But all I'm gonna say to them, to the women, what kind of man do you really want? In your heart and in your soul, don't you really want a man that can protect you, that can lead and make decisions, that you can help him be great as well? Don't you really, really want that? You really don't want that 50-50 shit. You know why? Because if you really want that 50-50 shit, you do 50-50 shit all the time. It you don't.
Well, you said it much earlier about being more spiritual, and I think honestly that's where it should end, when you become more of a higher conscious thinker or new age thinker, if I could say so. But more so if you're in tune with your consciousness and who you are and your surroundings, then this should flow. It shouldn't be resisting.
Well, see, you gotta understand, every creature has a responsibility to the nature of its existence. Okay? Let me say this to you. You meet a man, right? And you meet that man, and you're talking about previous partners, right? Right? Okay. And you ask that man how many partners he's been with. Right? And he says, I've been with 5 women and 4 men. What would you feel about that? If he's been with
5
men.
women and 4 men, I'm just gonna be like, he has a different sex preference.
Would you be attracted to a man? Could you respect a man and be in a relationship with a man that multiple men have been with sexually, have bent him over as a man? Can you be in a relationship with a man like that?
Can I be attracted to that person?
You may think that he's handsome, but can you be in a relationship with somebody, with a man?
To me, that's a red flag. Whether it was 9 women or 5 men and 4 women, it doesn't matter. That's a lot. And I say it like that because, number one, I'll respect the honesty, but I almost will feel like red flag. I honestly don't really care what gender. But that's just me. I just feel like, your sexual life is your sexual life. Whether you prefer another, male or female, or you are, a paid escort. Because it's kind of like the same thing. You're paid escort. What's the difference between you being with somebody that's the same sex or a paid escort? That's like like, what? Like,
It's a lot
taboo.
different.
It's still taboo.
It's a lot different because guess what? When you, I'm gonna ask you this. You know damn well men that you've dated have probably had more than 9 partners. You know that. Women, I'm saying. You may have been like, you may have probably wanted to be the only one because you like the guy, but you can tolerate, that energy different than the energy of a man and a man and bring that energy to you. There's something about a woman. Most women don't date bisexual or men that say they don't. Typically, that doesn't happen, and there's a reason. There's a reason for that.
What's the reason?
Because inherently, somewhere in her DNA, she feels that a man that another man could penetrate, could dominate. I can't really see him as a strong man.
What? Because they have feminine tendency? All males have feminine tendency.
No, I think feminine tendency. I'm talking about a man has allowed other men to penetrate him. Right?
What if they were penetrating that person?
The fact that there's a connection between two men, I'm pretty sure she might be tolerated if he was the dominant anyway. I don't know. But there's something about a man telling a woman, I've been with men and women.
What if they were in jail? Listen, don't tell me this doesn't happen. They're in jail. They're in the prison system.
Yeah, but the difference is, see, listen to my question.
I've seen that happen too, Riley.
This is the question. The question is, he told you. He told you. See, if you don't know, you don't know. Right. But once you know, that information is a responsibility. It's something that happens when you hear something. When you hear something, it's a law. Once you hear it, what happens to your psyche? You can tolerate a man that's been with 9 women, then you can tolerate a man that's been with 9 men.
I feel like it's the same.
You feel like it's the same, but guess what? You've never dated a man that's been with 9 men, but you dated a man that's been with 9 women.
I don't know that for sure. I don't trust anybody.
Okay, but see now you know what you're doing now. You're kind of like you're being politically correct. But
no, I'm not being politically correct because a man could tell me they've been with one person, 9 people, half were men, half were women. I still will feel like they're still hiding something from me, partly.
Fine, that's because you don't trust.
Right.
But
I would have to honestly see.
You've never been with a man that's told you I've been with 9 men.
Because maybe they didn't expose that to me.
Right. So you've been with men.
I don't ask those questions, Marley.
You've been with men. You've been with men that had previous lovers that were women.
Absolutely.
Right. So let me ask you this question. So would you be with a man that said he'd been with 2 men?
I would take it slow and see where his head is at now.
Okay, so pause. So would you be with a man that been with 2 women?
Yeah.
See the difference? You didn't say take it slow. See my point? See the difference?
Yeah.
See? That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
It's deep. It's a deep science to it, Yeah. And I'm not. Listen, I'm not. If that's your sexual preference, I mean, I'm just talking about the psyche with a heterosexual woman, and a man who's bisexual comes to a heterosexual woman and telling her how it would respond to her, or how she would respond to it psychologically. I'm not trying to, hate on anybody, for what they choose to do. I'm talking about the connection of people with different chemistry and how it relates to his ability or her ability to see him in a certain fashion.
I see. Yeah, you would look at that person differently.
because and you know, so all these things are very important when you're searching and looking for somebody. And you know, I'm not trying to be politically correct, because women out here they need a lot of protection. They need strong men, and I'm not going to apologize for being one. And I'm not going to sugarcoat, you know, where I stand, because to make some people who disagree with me happy. If you disagree with me, you disagree with me. We can agree to disagree, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. You know, but you're going to have to show me where I'm wrong at and how it pertains to the order of operation. Science, biology, nature will not disagree with me, and how it pertains to long term. I've heard debates about, oh, well, look at hyenas. Hyenas are females, and they run the pack. Yeah, but guess what? We're not hyenas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about playing that role.
Yeah, the nature of a hyena, not the nature of a human being.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's it's like you're trying to create a defense for something when you really need to understand this. And I'm talking to men too. Step your shit up. I'm not gonna be talking to females like, oh, it's women do this. Yo, men, step your shit up too. Mm-hmm. Step your shit up, because women out here, they're looking for somebody to really be about their life. Get your credit up, get your health up, get your money up. You know, get yourself together before you even talk to a woman. What you talking to a woman before you got no money to pay?
Yeah.
What you talking to her for with a 450 credit score? What the fuck you talking to her for?
The fuck doing?
Right. Get your shit together first. Get your shit together, and then go, and then you could have a conversation with her. Honestly, you know what's funny about that? If you get your shit together, you don't have to chase nobody.
Yeah, for real.
Women have a gift called intuition, and that gift is fucking phenomenal. She will be able to tell what kind of man you are by what you don't say.
Yes, that's so true.
You know what I'm saying?
I was really feeling this one guy once, Riley, and I appreciated like the post he was putting up, you know, which was very deep and profound, political, mm-hmm. and I was wondering what he did for a living, and what turned me on, or what my attraction to that person was, mm-hmm. what he did not say. Right. Not, you know, I'm this, and that. I used to do this, and that. Right. That's what he did not say. That kind of intrigued me.
The truth is in the unsaid.
Right.
The truth is in the unsaid.
Because I was like, how do you know so much? So it just doesn't stop there.
Now, a lot of people have asked me, you know, like why, you know, like you don't talk that much, or I want to know more about you. And I've known when I before I did Patreon or did like YouTube and stuff, you know, I've always had like a very ambiance. Like I was always a talker, but I wasn't always letting you in. So you would not really know much about me, but you would know things. You would know of me, and that's because I don't have to sell myself to you. I should say, I don't have to sell myself to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? What you do for a living? This or that. Mm-hmm. You know. Why? You know, there's a wise man that once said, you know, you don't have to ask me qualifying questions. If I have to tell you everything that I do for you to like me, then you don't like me. You like what I do. Mm-hmm. The attraction should not be altered by what I can do for you. The attraction should be the same because of who I am when you met me. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't have to sell myself to get your approval, because if you like, what do? Do you work? Or do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? See, those are questions that the woman's asking you to see if you work being in her life. You don't have to answer those questions. Mm-hmm. Attraction is attraction. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you what I do. None of your business. Yeah. You know? Because when you met me, you were attracted to me, right? So now, what's stopping that now? You will get that information as time goes by, but I'm not going to be selling myself to you. I'm not taking you out on expensive, extravagant dates to prove to you that you need to be in my life. Because now, guess what? Once I start doing that, I've created a standard now that I have to maintain. You know what I'm saying? Women don't like when you go backwards in life. If she met you balling, you gotta stay balling. You know what I mean? You can't meet on the yacht and then meet on the bus next week. It ain't gonna work. So be true to. That's why I say to men, get yourself together before you even get involved. You know what I'm saying? If you want complete submission, you also have to have discipline as a man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up though.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.
Gotta go. Peace.
All right.